Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me is Christine Kim, Research Analyst with CoinDesk. Christine, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Thank you so much for having me, Jill.
All right, let's talk Bitcoin. Is the current Bitcoin bear market short-lived, or are these the levels it will be at for the longer term?
Well, I think from the analysis that I've done, this could be a short-term bear market, similar to what we saw with the short-term bull market in 2019 that only lasted half a year because of what we're seeing on two different on-chain metrics. So looking at the value of newly issued Bitcoin awarded to miners on the network through the Puel multiple, we can see that on June 27th, the multiple hit a one-year low, dropping into a range that traditionally has signaled undervaluation of Bitcoin and a weakening of bearish momentum. Also, if you look at the average price change of Bitcoin since the last time these coins were moved on the blockchain, this is a metric called MVRV, you can see that it hasn't quite reached the highs that it historically hits before a bear market crash, which means that, there might be potential that Bitcoin still has room to run before holders begin profit taking.
Well, and Christine, in the first quarter, Bitcoin had its third worst quarter ever in terms of price performance, dropping just over 40%. On the other hand, Ethereum finished the quarter up nearly 19%. Why do we see the divergence there?
Yeah, so this happened in the second quarter of 2021, and this roller coaster price movement, it did create a lot of volatility and lots of trade volume in the market. I think that seeing Ether perform Bitcoin in terms of trade volume, especially in that month of May, it suggests that interest in Ether is growing beyond retail traders to professional investors who can offer deeper liquidity and value to the ETH market. So it's quite exciting to see more professional institutional investor interest in Ether slowly moving over from Bitcoin.
What else is going on in the DeFi ecosystem? How is it evolving and adapting to these trends?
Well, DeFi, it's been really exciting because with the decentralized finance ecosystem, we're seeing lots of growth in the different kinds of lending markets, in the different kinds of decentralized exchanges, as well as automated market makers. We're seeing greater amounts of liquidity and value flow to them. But I think a big concern that we're going to have to keep watching out for, especially in the next couple of months as DeFi grows bigger, is how are regulators thinking about this? How does the regulation around the decentralized finance ecosystem truly adapt? And where are the gray areas that regulators may or may not start cracking down on in Q3 and Q4?
And notably during Q2, the amount of Ether locked in DeFi decreased. Why is that impactful?
Right. The amount of ETH locked in DeFi did decrease. I think that that suggests one very important thing, and that is that the kind of collateral, the kind of value locked within these DeFi applications is diversifying, mainly because the total value locked, which is just an amalgamation of the dollar value of not just ETH, but any kind of token that's locked in these DeFi applications, that number did go up over the quarter while we saw ETH go down. So what are some of the other popular tokens that are backing these DeFi applications? I think we're also seeing wrapped Bitcoin, so tokenized versions of Bitcoin on the Ethereum blockchain go up in DeFi, in the DeFi realm, which suggests perhaps Bitcoin holders are looking to gain a yield, looking to leverage some of the interesting applications of DeFi using their Bitcoin, which is quite exciting. And then, of course, we've got the governance tokens of various decentralized finance lending markets. But that's a whole nother topic. So yes, the diversity of tokens in DeFi is quite exciting to see.
All right, Christine, appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Thank you for having me.